It's about time I took a nice hot bath so I can wash off the stink of a 5-year marriage. Now, if there's anything that I feel experienced enough in that I could do a TED Talk about, it would probably be how to survive a breakup. Getting over heartbreak is hard, but I want to help you through this and try to keep you on the right track. And I don't think it matters necessarily whether or not you just got out of a 1-year relationship or a 10-year relationship, because the way I see it, heartbreak is heartbreak. Before I start, I want to point out that when I talk about the ex, I'm typically going to be using he or him pronouns, and that's because I'm talking about my own experience. I'm not overlooking the fact that some of you just got dumped by a woman or somebody non-binary, so please just try to apply it to yourself. I also want to say that from this point forward, I'm going to be talking to you like you just got dumped yesterday. So let's get started.
I shall never know the desert. I want to go. You've made me want to go. Yes. Once you said to me that peace and happiness might be found there. You gave me hope. And now we have to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Look, I get it. You're down in the dumps. You don't want to get out of bed. You're wearing your pajamas until dinner time. You can't eat. You can't sleep. You're watching the same sad movie and you have Adele on repeat. And it's totally natural. You're supposed to go through a bit of a grieving process. But look, we have to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's why I'm only allowing you 3 days to cry your eyes out, alright? That's not 3 business days, that's 3 days, 3 nights, 72 hours. And then after that, you no longer have that luxury. So hit me up in 3 days, and we'll move on to the next step. Create a protective force field. Alright, first of all, this should be beyond obvious, but don't call him, okay? Definitely don't call him. It's going to set back your progress. Don't do it. It is now time to create a protective barrier or force field, if you will, in which your ex's name isn't even allowed into it. You do need to block his number and take his number out of your phone. Have your friend do it for you. You now have to block him on all social media. You also have to unfollow his friends, unfollow his family, unfollow his coworkers, even unfollow his dog walker. You can't take the chance of his name or an image of him seeping into your brain. You're too sensitive for that right now. So this is very important. Then have a meeting with your close circle of friends and make sure they are all on the same page. They also have to unfollow him. Not only that, but they are not allowed to even utter his name to you unless you bring it up because it's something you need to talk about. If one of your close friends became good friends with your now ex, they now have a decision to make. Who's it gonna be? Him or me? Choose now. Who? And they better give the right answer. Get rid of pictures of him. Get rid of gifts he gave you. If he gave you a pair of underwear, get rid of it. If he bought you a diamond ring, pawn it or sell it on eBay. Anything that's going to remind you of him is now beyond worthless and it has to go in the trash. This is important to do because what you are actually doing is stripping yourself of your past identity. For however long you were with this person, you were known not only to yourself but to everyone else around you as their other half. You were like Coca and Cola, always together. But now you're Pepsi and you stand alone. Am I making sense? It is so important for you to unfollow him on social media because if you see him out having fun with his friends while you're home alone working on yourself, feeling kind of miserable, it's going to set you back and it's going to make it 10 times harder. You have to unfollow him. And this is like reason number 8,721 why social media has us up. We naturally are not supposed to know what our ex is doing after we break up with them. I swear in 2004, breakups were so much easier. I have to add, I completely understand that you might be in a situation in which you have to bump into your ex. Like let's say you have to go to a Christmas party or a friend's birthday party or a graduation or a wedding, something like chances are he's gonna be there because he's still connected to the person that you are obligated to see. Let's say you are obligated to go to somebody's birthday party and you know he's probably going to be there. I'll tell you exactly what you do. It will make it way easier. Buy a tuxedo or rent a tuxedo, but not a powdered blue or pink one. Make sure it's black. I'll tell you why. Everyone, and I mean Everyone looks like $1,000,000 in a tuxedo. It's guaranteed. It doesn't matter if you're Brad Pitt or Drew Carey. You're gonna look like $1,000,000 when you show up in a tuxedo, which means you are gonna feel like $1,000,000, which is going to help you so much. When you show up to this party, make sure you show up a little late and only for 45 minutes tops. Just enough to give the right people a hug and give a gift to who you have to give a gift to, and then bounce. Now, because you're showing up a little late and only staying for like half hour, 45 minutes, and on top of that, you're in a tuxedo, it's going to appear that you either came from someplace glamorous and very important, or you're about to dip and go someplace very glamorous and very important. And if your ex sees you, all he knows is he wasn't invited. This next step decides whether or not you go down the road of self-improvement or self-destruction. I'm gonna help you make a plan. Now, before I get into this plan, I wanna point out, before I decided to make this video, I watched about a dozen YouTube videos about how to get over your ex, and the most common thing that these videos say is that before you can move forward, you have to come to terms that there is absolutely no hope with you getting back together with your ex. And I have to say, I disagree with this. I don't think it's realistic. For a while, you're gonna hold on to hope that you're gonna get back with your ex, and if you have to wait until that hope is gone, you will be in limbo for far too long, and life is too short. If you stay in this type of limbo without moving forward, there will be too much opportunity for you to fall into self-destructive habits. So you have to move forward even if you're still holding on to hope. You see, as you start to work with the plan we're going to talk about, there will still be a little voice in the back of your head that says, oh, well, if he calls me and asks to get back together, I guess I would. Or, oh, if he calls me and he wants to meet and go out for lunch, I guess I would. But you'll find that that voice inside your head will get softer and softer, and it will eventually leave your brain as long as you are following this plan and decide to work on yourself. So like I said, self-improvement or self-destruction, what's it gonna be? Let's make a plan. All right, so I think it's completely realistic to say that in 6 months, you can be completely over your ex. But let's think about that. Where do you want to be 6 months from now? What is it about you and your life right now that you truly want to change? The first time I got my heart broken, I was 22 years old, and I went through it. I don't know how I came up with this, but I figured out I'd be over him in 6 months. So what changes do I want to make? So I'm going to say choose 5 things that you want to change about yourself that you can achieve within the next 6 months, all right? So when I did this, I wanted to get a shredded body. So I started going to the gym. I wanted to live in a better neighborhood in a nicer apartment. So during this 6 months time, I moved with my friends to an apartment in Fenway Park. I wanted a better paying job, which I found. I wanted to take my music more seriously, so I found some really good producers in Dorchester that I started working with. And I wanted to go to a better school. At the time I was going to a community college, but I switched over and started going to UMass Boston. So listen, even if your motivation is revenge, go with it. Even if your motivation is that when you see him in 6 months, you want it to be like a slow motion movie in which you walk by him and your hair's blowing in the wind like Beyonce and he does a double take and he realizes it was his ex and he wishes he was back with you, go with it. And I promise you, revenge is sweet. I remember the first time I saw my ex, it was like 6, 7, 8 months after we broke up, and it was the first week of summertime. Like it was like the first week of June, and I was at a club and I was coming up the stairs and he was going down the stairs and he did a double take. Now listen, I told you I've been going to the gym and I was wearing a nice tank top, not like this one, like a nice one, you know, and my shoulders were popping, my skin was glowing because I had changed my life. I changed my outlook. I changed my priorities. I was drinking water, I was eating salad, I was reading books, I was going to school. I was not who I was when I was with him, and he totally gagged. And not only did I look better, he looked worse. Like he kept on his winter weight. He was wearing like a long sleeve button up shirt in the summertime. He's like trying to hide shit. And he was trying to scoop me up. It was at this moment I realized I'm not even into him anymore. Like he represents the past. I'm all about the future. His life actually went downhill after he gave me the hook. And because I made the decision to focus on self-improvement, I was miles ahead of him. So make a plan. Focus on 5 things you want to change about yourself within the next 6 months and stick with it. Alright, I know it sounds kind of corny being like, get in touch with nature, but don't worry, I'm not asking you to go camping because I would never ask anybody to go camping, first of all, but just get out of the house. If there is a park you can go to, amazing. Even if it's just going for a walk. I understand that for many of us it's kind of cold outside right now, but going for a 20-minute walk won't hurt anybody. Put on your hat and gloves and just be by yourself. You know, get out of the house. You've been playing video games all day, watching TV, scrolling through Instagram. Leave the phone at home and go for a walk just by yourself, not even with any music, because it will make you feel alone. And it's important to feel that way and to get used to it and to be more than okay with it. Because in this life, we only have ourselves anyway. So look, I hate to sound like your parents, but get the f out of the house. Go outside and play. Reflections and gratitude. Now it's time to reflect and have some gratitude about your relationship with your ex. Let's face it, you were probably in this relationship because you had to learn something from it. So what did you learn? Maybe you learned that you'll be happier if you have a partner that's more affectionate. Maybe you learned you'll be happier if you find someone that's less affectionate. Maybe you learned that you need to find someone that communicates the same way that you do in order for the relationship to work. It's also time to press rewind so you can remember the things you actually hated about your ex, so you can have gratitude about the fact that it's actually over. Did your ex eat tuna fish and egg sandwiches in front of you? Maybe your ex wouldn't brush his teeth until after breakfast because he hated the way that toothpaste tasted with orange juice. Maybe your ex never wore clean sneakers. Maybe he never ironed his clothes. Maybe you hated the way he told the same jokes over and over again. Maybe he made you watch Real Housewives of Potomac when you just wanted to watch Judge Judy or the Golden Girls. Alright, I'm pulling from personal experience. You also might have learned things from your ex that were slightly more superficial, but you benefit from. Maybe based on your last relationship, you learned more about fashion and you started dressing better. Maybe you learned more about vitamins. Maybe it's because of him you now wear sunblock. Find something that you can be grateful for in the relationship, but also be grateful that it's over. But look, it'll be so much easier to move on if you realize and accept the gifts that your past relationship gave you, and you can apply that to your next relationship. All right, it's time for me to dry off. Make sure you close the door on the way out. Mental health check-in. It's very important while you're going through this process that you have someone you can check in with probably on a weekly basis. Someone you can talk about your goals with, and also someone that can keep tabs on your progress. It might not be realistic that your friends can be there for you every step of the way because we all have busy lives, but having someone to talk to is extremely important. Now, I am not sponsored at all, but I do want to mention that I recently started working with a company called Cerebral. You can go to cerebral.com and check them out. There's a lot of other websites that offer you online help, that you can talk to a counselor or a therapist through video call. I do this on a weekly basis, and it honestly helps me stay accountable for my weekly goals. It's actually very, very affordable, and it will guarantee you that you always have somebody that you can talk to at least once a week that knows your story, knows your situation, knows what your goals are. It will help keep tabs on them. Alright, so that's basically it. I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed it too. Feel free to like and subscribe and to bang that bell if you want to be notified when I drop another video, because if I drop a video and you don't know, then how is this relationship supposed to flourish, right? My name is Cazwell. Thanks for coming. I hope you learned something. And as always, big kiss, baby.